Hi, my name is Kara. I'm going to talk to you about my nursing issue paper. I chose to write about the nursing role in the opioid epidemic. I chose this because it impacts us as a society and in healthcare in a ton of ways. One being in healthcare, we deal with it all the way from being there when they get prescribed that prescription for the first time to patients ODing, to patients becoming dependent, people who are using it who want to quit, and sometimes we also will have to deal with the complications that come with an opioid misuse. Sometimes it leads into other drugs for the patient, and then we are dealing with things like Hep C and things like that as well with our patients. So it's something that affects us in healthcare. And with 10.1 million people in the last year misusing their prescription drugs, it's something that affects us as a community as well. And there may be some people who say they don't know anyone that misuses drugs, but with that large number, you might. So these people don't usually choose to start misusing drugs, it just happens to them. And out of that 10.1 million people that misused their prescription drugs last year, 1.6 million of them did it for the first time. So this is a growing issue. In my paper, I mention people that are misusing their opioids and medications, seeking treatment through telehealth. So I got this information from an article from Mayo Clinic. The article is called Telemedicine's Role in Addressing the Opioid Epidemic. I chose to talk about this because I'm from a rural area. I'm from southeastern Kentucky, like way down there, and access to help is a challenge. There are regular clinics that you go to, but they are not always prepared to treat someone with opioid misuse disorder. And so I chose to talk about this as a form of access to treatment in hopes that it will also educate nurses so they can educate their patients. This might be an option for them as well. This paper, I really hoped to also educate nurses on, you're there at the beginning when they get their first prescription. You need to let them know what proper pain management looks like. And just teach. People may think they know it already, and sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. We have to just take for granted they don't. And when you see some, might be an issue with this opioid stuff, to speak up, talk to the people prescribing it and where you work, and talk to the patient about what are their other alternative options for pain management. What else can they do? And when it comes down to it, what's their access to treatment? So that was the main reason I wrote the paper. So when we talked about the telemedicine, the majority of medication assisted treatments are like in urban areas and cities. I live in a city now, probably has a ton of access to it. But when in rural areas like where I'm from, in the U.S., 91 to 99% of rural areas don't have any treatment centers. And the other small percentage that is left out of there that do have treatment centers, they have a waiting list that's really long. So these people are wanting help and they can't get to it. So there was a trial of telemedicine that was done in Maryland. They have to use a little bit of a different medication when you do a telehealth versus like a methadone clinic. But it was ran majority by nurse practitioners, and they did these telemedicine health sessions with 300 rural patients. 59% of the 300 stayed in treatment and continued to follow up with telehealth. And out of that 59% that stayed in treatment, 94% are still not using drugs to this day. And then it was followed up again by another study in West Virginia that had similar results, and they compared it to success rates of an in-person methadone clinic, and there was no difference in success rates. So this works, and it's something we can look into for, wherever you all may live, and see if this is an option for your patients, to kind of just educate them. Treatment's not all going to look the same. And telemedicine allows these people in these rural areas, they might not have a way to get to the city. And that is unfortunately a large issue with people who are addicted to drugs. They don't have a vehicle, they don't have a dependable ride, they don't have money for gas. They're addicted to something. That's where all their energy is going. And when they have that inkling of wanting to change or try something new, with their life, it's important that they have some kind of options. And our role as nurses is to say, here, what about this? What about that? Let's try these options, and if you're still in pain, if there's still a real baseline medical issue causing pain, we have options to help with that too, so you don't have to be on the opioids for that pain. So hopefully this paper will kind of let everyone know what we can offer our patients, and encourage people to research about your own area. What is your access in your state to telemedicine care for opioid misuse? And I hope that it sheds a little bit of light on it. And thank you.